Good morning in the loop. It's Hyde. Woke up way too early to film this video. Left my house at like 5 a.m. Get to Busch Gardens by 7 a.m. for a roller coaster insider tour. This is something Busch Gardens Williamsburg has done for a while. They've done it on and off here in different capacities over the years, but as part of National Roller Coaster Week this week, they brought it back. So we're going to go climb Sheikra and then go see a bunch of other roller coasters. So you ready to get your nerd on? You're about to see everything nerdy you could ever want to see. After checking us in, we headed straight to Sheikra. You'll hear a lot of voiceover in this video. When you're 200 feet in the air at top of Sheikra, it was hard enough to hear the tour guide when I was standing there, let alone pick it up on the mic on the camera. Same thing when we were in like the maintenance sheds. The rides were testing, machines were going. Just hard to hear, so I'll do my best to repeat back all the fun facts they shared with us on the tour. And even for someone who I like to think I know a lot about coasters, I got schooled on this tour. So let's dive in. Let's start exploring everything that you ever wanted to know about Sheikra. So before we could go to the top of Sheikra, or really go into any ride restricted area, and this applies for any kind of roller coaster or ride out there, you have to do what they call Lockout Tagout, which means you take a lock, you put it over the control panel that powers up the ride, and you hold the key. So that way no one can come and turn on the ride while you're out walking the track or in the area. And when I've done tours like this in the past, usually a tour guide just locks on there, which is acceptable. But here, to kind of illustrate the process, they made all of us do it, which was a really cool experience to just be like, hey everyone, you hold the keys to Sheikra, don't lose it. Alright, we're heading into the coaster barn. Alright, if you couldn't hear me say that, that's exactly why I'm going to do voiceover in here. This was really loud in here, but really cool. Lots of cool nerd facts. So let's jump in. This is where they store all the trains for Sheikra, and they also do all the annual maintenance for the ride. So as soon as we walked in, right at our eye level, there was a train in there for annual maintenance. So once a year, they take a car in and kind of take it all apart and then rebuild it from the ground up to test every part of it, replace worn parts. And Busch Gardens is actually unique. Whereas a lot of parks, you know, Cedar Point will have 3 trains for their B&Ms and run 3 trains. Busch Gardens actually usually has 1 extra train. For example, Montu and Kumba have 4 trains, so that one can always be in the shop at a given time. Same thing with Sheikra here. There's 1 extra train, so they always could be working on one at a time. So the flat piece you see under the train here is what the drive, tires, and station come in contact with to move the car forward. And then you're also seeing underneath here the anti-rollbacks prevent it from rolling down the lift hill, the chain dog, and then as well as the release point that the chain dog locks into and then quickly releases that causes you to dive over the edge.
This is what your iPhone looks like. I'm Team iPhone, but they can't survive. So I don't think an Android will do much better for you Android fans out there. So make sure you don't keep your loose. This is just a section of the train. This is the lift chain. It's about 200 pounds, just this section. The entire lift chain for the ride is about 7,000 pounds. So this is what's dragging you up as you're going up the lift. Pretty long chain. It's like on your bike. It's just wheeling you up, and then once you're up, you're hanging out.
So here's an up-close look at what creates that big splash in the splashdown part of Sheikra.
If you'll look here, it's kind of got a shaved edge. It's not just flat. The reason it's like that is so it can cut the surface tension of the water and force the water through the scoops instead of out. So that's where the water goes, comes out through here and gets your big, huge wall of water. Not as big as it used to be. Fun.
So this was something that I didn't know. They actually boil the wheels before using.
But they'll boil it for a bit at a very high temperature. It'll expand. It's essentially like when you're boiling your mouth guard for a sport, and then it fits your mold. That's essentially what we're doing.
Next, we went to the station, where employees don't actually push the green button. They actually use a foot pedal to dispatch the ride.
So As you can see on the screen, there's a lot of things going on the screen if you can see it. This screen tells us fun things like whether the harnesses are locked or not, where the train is located at all times. So we get a lot of information here. In addition, we have the cameras that show us her location. You see right there, there's the other half of the tour. So we get to spy on them, it's kind of cool, I guess. So you guys will be up there. So like I said, we can see it through the monitors where the train is, and we can also see it on our control panel. It's not as pretty and not as high definition, but we got little blinky lights, and that's the same thing, right? This is our wind gauge. This is how we monitor how the wind speed at 40 miles an hour. Sheikra can no longer operate in those wind speeds, so you know, hurricanes. Fun as that might be, we cannot operate. So we'll just keep track. So the maximum today so far it's hit is 14. We're currently at 3, and of course we can always reset it, and it'll just lock in the maximum.
So before we could head to the top, we had to get in our safety gear. We had these giant yellow kind of belt harnesses that attached to them were these carabiners with a locking clip to lock into the guardrail up at the top. We had to be locked in at all times. And these things were heavy. This carabiner clip here you see me holding, that piece was probably 10 or 15 pounds, like solid metal. And we just had to lug that around with us. Thankfully, we didn't have to climb. My out of shape body would not have been able to do that. We rode the funicular up to the top. Now, I believe the dive coasters have this. Millennium Force also has something like this. And the Cedar Point version, you had to just stand in this box. Kenny and I rode this little box to the top. Here they actually had seats that we sat in and seatbelt ourselves in, and it's motorized, a separate motor, so that if a power outage does go out, does take the ride down, they're still able to run this. And this was really cool. This is where we started to see the great view that we were about to see from the top, and just really like how massive Sheikra is. Plus, we got some great views of Gwazi, RMC 2020. So once we got to the top, we had to take that harness and clip into the handrail. We had 2 clips so that when we got to support in the handrail, we'd unclip one, clip it to the other side, then move the other one in so that we were always clipped in at all times. And there's probably a handrail support every 5 feet. So it probably took us 10 minutes to maybe walk all the way around here because you had to slide, clip, unclip. But you got a great view of Tampa off in the distance.
Well, Sheikra has 2 different kinds of brakes. We have magnetic brakes and we have friction brakes. We'll talk a little bit more about magnetic brakes when we get over to Cheetah Hunt. But the friction brakes, so you see one of our brakes right here. It's holding onto the train. There's another one up ahead of the train, and we actually passed one at the top of the lift over on the other side. Friction brakes work just like the brakes on your car, or at least very similar to it. On your car, you have a rotor behind your wheel, and then around the rotor is a caliper with brake pads in it. When you put your foot on the brake pedal, it squeezes those brake pads against your rotor and brings your car to a stop. This works in much the same way, except it's all laid out flat. As the coasters come through the brakes squeeze against the coaster to bring it to a stop. Drop difference in this turn to get here. When you leave the lift, when you leave the drop, the ride is powered entirely by gravity, so there's nothing pushing it. So they have that downward angle with the turn to get you to this point here. And then once you leave the drop, you're basically free falling throughout the entire ride. You will not stop outside of any braking area, aside from the lift.
After Sheikra, we headed across the park to the Intamin launch coaster Cheetah Hunt. And this was really cool. They took us to the control room first and then down into the maintenance bay before going into the launch. Similar to Sheikra, that we did the Lockout Tagout procedure. And you can see a little glimpse of the control room here. But once we all got our locks, took a brief look at the control panel, and then headed over to the maintenance bay to see where all the trains are stored and under refurbishment. So this is the maintenance bay. And as I was saying with Sheikra, Busch Gardens usually orders one extra coaster train so that they can always be under annual maintenance. This one's about like 60 or 70% there. You see it's missing a couple coverings back here in the front. It still needed, some wheel assemblies. But this is where they take all the harnesses apart, take all the wheels off, check it, and basically rebuild the train from the ground up once a year to make sure everything is working correctly. And here is a look at the underside of the train. You can see where that little opening, that's what slides over the LSMs that launch the train. For a lot of roller coasters, you see a maintenance bay that can maybe hold one of the trains or two of them. Sometimes it's just a side rail next to the station. This is actually a full maintenance bay that can hold all of Cheetah Hunt's trains at one time, kind of bring them out of the elements, bring them down in here to do refurbishments. But it's big enough to hold them all at once, which is pretty crazy. But it helps keep them out of the elements, lets them do the inspections right there versus up in the station. Next to going to the top of Sheikra, this was probably my favorite part of the tour. Got to walk alongside and learn all about the launch for the second main launch on Cheetah Hunt. And you see all those white things, those are the LSMs that push and pull the electromagnetics underneath the train down the launch track and up into the hill. And then also at the start of the launch down here, there's some brakes that can retract or expand up to help control the speed so that the train's always hitting that launch at roughly the same amount of speed, so you can get a more consistent launch every single time. So those white LSMs can get quite hot, especially in the Florida heat. So they actually have an AC system built in that's constantly flowing cooled water through them to help regulate their temperature. You can see here, that's what the black pipes are that follow the launch track, is chilled water that constantly flows through those LSMs, keeping them cool. Here's a little launch POV. And those LSMs can also act as brakes. So if the train doesn't make it all the way up, they can fire in reverse and actually slow the train down instead of launching it as it rolls backwards down the track. Sometimes it doesn't make it up all the way. There are some retractable brakes on the kind of the slope up incline that you see right here that if the train doesn't make it up, those shoot up. Last stop on the trip was Cobra's Curse, where we spent most of our time in the control room learning about the ride.
Hook that they hold on to, and they just touch it to the back of the train. It tells the computer that they checked the harnesses or the lap bar, and once the coaster reaches the end of the station, it just dispatches itself. If the coaster reaches the end of the station and a lap bar is unlocked or the train hasn't been tagged yet, it just stops the movement in the station.
One cool thing about the ride is that area right behind the platform can slide over and provide guests who need a little extra time as much time as they need to get on the ride. And another track slides in its place. So he's going to illustrate, that's kind of what the guy's going to be talking about in the next couple of clips here, is how that happens, how the computer automatically knows what ride that is, and how it resets itself.
Guests that need extra time for whatever reason to load a train. One good feature I would say for that particular track is that as that train pulls over, there's another track that aligns with the regular track to have a constant motion and movement of the ride. So the trains or the track or even the ride will not stop at all at any point in time while we have that train separated from the track. Okay? So as you're noticing, the train is moving over to the side and there's another track aligned so that there's a constant movement of trains flowing through the station.
So the panels show the green lights mean the restraints have been checked. It shows that for all the cars around the entire track. The cool thing I really thought was neat was that little blue square in the top right kind of corner of the panel is showing that that car was the one they had to pull over for special assistance. So that way, if the ride gets stuck, say on like the second lift hill or something, when it shuts down, it will flash that, hey, the car that someone needed special help with is on the blue hill. So they know that we probably are going to need some help with that train. The computer also then automatically knows that when that train comes in, to slide it back to the side. The operator doesn't even have to do anything. All right, so about 3 hours later, and at least, oh my gosh, 200 degrees warmer, we're right back where we started. Tour was a lot of fun. Learned a lot. Our tour guide was super knowledgeable. He's worked at the park forever. And I think I paid around 50 bucks. They now offer it for, it's sold out in 12 hours, so right thing to do. They upped the price, and I think now it's around $60. They released some more dates in September for the tour, but unfortunately those are already sold out. But I mean, if you're still looking to do it, I would say keep an eye on the website. I can't recommend this tour enough. If you're a coaster nerd, even if you think you saw a good amount of it in here, getting to climb to the top of Sheikra, 200 feet in the air is just awesome. Worth the 60, 70 bucks, whatever they're going to charge. But keep an eye on the website. My gut instinct says they'll probably release more dates over the course of the fall. And if not, there's a very similar tour up in Williamsburg. You can do pretty much the same thing on those roller coasters. So if you really like what you saw here, we actually have a video on the channel. Find that one and see what it's like up in Williamsburg. And then also, got to give a plug for another video. Kenny and I did a very similar tour at Cedar Point a couple years ago. Well, he did all the filming, I just made funny, stupid jokes. But if you are looking in the Cedar Point area, they do something called the Sunrise Tour. That one's quite a bit more, and it's a little bit more extensive. But again, if you like what you saw here, check that out. Hope you enjoyed the look here. Hope you learned something. And I gotta go shower or something. I'm like soaked in sweat, standing on top of Sheikra in the sun. It'll do it to you. So, I'm at my car, so I'm going to get in the air conditioning here and stop talking. But thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and definitely check out this tour if you're in the area or if you're in Williamsburg or Cedar Point.